Good afternoon, everyone. Our next session for today is hosted by Aarav. Aarav was incorporated in 2007. They make high-value impact aroma chemicals used as ingredients in the fragrance and flavor industry. They cater to the home and personal care industry, delectable flavors for bakery, confectionery, beverages, and savory. They also create unique specialty ingredients to give an edge to your creations in the fragrance industry. We are privileged to have with us today Mr. Ajit Waze, Managing Director of Aarav and past President of FAFAI. Ajit Uncle, it's a pleasure to have you here with us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. I think you stopped my video. Could you start that?
Rahul, can you please assist?
Yeah, my video is stopped. So,
sir, you can click on, first you can open the video and then you can click on share screen.
yeah, I know that. Okay, now I think it seems to have started. Okay. Right. Are you online?
Yes, Ajit Uncle, please proceed.
Yeah. So hello and good afternoon, everybody, and happy Gudi Padwa and all the other festivals whose names, unfortunately, I don't know. So have a good happy new year. I'm here to talk about our ingredients. So as without wasting too much time, I'll take you straight to the presentation. Right. So Aarav ingredients, the story starts in 2016 when Aarav as a company was producing enough, let me call it disposable income to invest in backward integration. So we said we should start making ingredients. The reason for doing that was one is to strengthen the base for our fragrance and flavor ingredients. And the second was that we wanted to build a independent fine chemicals business, independent from the fragrance and flavor unit, which can then grow independently as time goes by. With this in mind, we started the spade work for Aarav ingredients in 2016. And we decided to take the long way around in the sense that we would want to invest in building abilities rather than going to the market straight away. So some of the things that we did, our philosophy was that first we invested in building strengths in basic research and process development. So the strengths that we have built over the last 5-6 years now, one is organic synthesis. We have strong strengths in organic synthesis product development. So we can actually take a molecule and figure out how to make it in new and exciting and inexpensive ways. We have a process development. So we have a good chemical engineering team now, which can develop the process. We have investments in separation technologies, things like distillation, crystallization, which are also necessary for product purification. And we have analytical skills, GC-MSS, GCs, things like that. We have a very chemistry-driven division. We make complex products with very rigorous olfactory profiles and a strong focus on isomer ratios and impurity profiles. This is required because unless you have a very good control on your isomer ratios and on your impurity profiles while making the ingredient, you cannot actually control the quality from batch to batch. And our initial focus was very strongly on being able to build very consistent quality into our products right at the research stage. The second thing that we focus on is in the EHS, which is environment, health, and safety. Our processes are based mostly on green chemistry, and our new plant, which is coming at Vada, is very water efficient, zero discharge. In fact, we put more water back thanks to the monsoon than we actually use in the company. The other two guiding principles of our chemistry is one is that we do multi-step processes. We don't do simple things like esterification or aldol condensation because those do not give us any sustainable competitive edge over any period of time. They are easily done by other people. So it's not something that you can build an advantage over a long period of time. So most of our products are multi-steps. Sometimes you will see a product today which is 11 steps from start to finish. Uh, we also have invested in good olfactory control. So we have a technical perfumery team which functions as a part of the ingredients division. This of course is thanks to our perfumery schools where we can get students and we can train them ourselves. But ingredient division benefits a lot from having in-house perfumers who can then decide and ensure that the quality that you order is always the quality that you get. We don't make any commodities. Our average selling price is more than $80 a kilo. So you can imagine that we don't make anything. We don't make things which sell below 1,000 rupees for sure. And we don't make any commodities. We also have invested a lot in learning how to handle hazardous materials. So, things like magnesium or THF for Grignard reaction, sodium metal, acetylene, hydrogen, carbon monoxide. We have spent the last 5 or 6 years learning to handle these in a very safe way and training our people so that there are no problems in the plant or at the research level. What this does is gives us an ability to go back and make intermediates internally wherever feasible. To give you one of the products that we are making, talking about today, which is called Galvanum. Most people would make this from an intermediate called imidone, which comes from China. But when we started making it in Aarav, we decided that we will not depend on intermediates from China. So we are one of the few companies who make diamidone internally and then make products from that. So this is a philosophy which I carried through. We try to make intermediates from easily available chemical commodities wherever feasible. That reduces our dependence on intermediates from countries like China. I guess all of us will appreciate this 6-year-old policy as we go by, and the war in Ukraine and deglobalization makes supply chain issues a little more complex. Our current status, the Pune Research and Pilot Facility was debottlenecked last year. So we added some capacity to balance our pilot plant. But the current capacity is small. It's about 80 tons per annum. The VADA production unit construction has already started. The ground floor foundations are up. Estimated start is Q1 of 2023. Probably by this time next year, we will be up and running at full capacity. Our capacity is greater than 2,400 tons per annum, which looks very small in terms of the volume. But when you multiply it by $80 a kilo, it becomes a very interesting capacity. The next one is that the very interesting thing is that we achieved financial break-even on a non-research basis this year, which means that our ingredients division is today self-sustaining. Of course, we spend close to 5 crores a year on on research, and all of it is not covered by profits yet. But hopefully 2022-23, we should be able to break even on a full basis. So now let's go to what has been happening since the last promotion which we did last year. Some of the things which I would like to point out are: one is that the following products have been approved by global MNCs, more than one in fact, and sales of significant volumes have started already. These include Arbrenol, which is our name for a norlimbanol type molecule, Oxathine, which is oxine, Rubaxolone, and Transferdecinol. These products have been successful. They have been approved globally, and we have been shipping regular quantities of these products. We have received great support from Indian fragrance manufacturers for Arbrenol. So a big thank you from all of us at Aarav for that. We are now shipping more than a ton per month for Arbrenol, which is not bad for the second year of manufacturing. So thank you all of you who have been buying Arbrenol, especially those who have been buying in barrels. A second big thank you. Another thing which has been happening is we have introduced a new schema within the company, because the research has been started working very well over the last 2 or 3 years. a lot of learning has taken place, and we have had an extremely efficient research group built up. One of the problems of a efficient research group is that you end up with too many products. So we now have a uh, protocol in place where before introducing a product, we do a cost benefit analysis to users, which means that at a certain price at which you would introduce it, if the users do not get a benefit from using it, then we don't introduce the product at all. The philosophy is that if we have a ingredient in the market, the perfumers who use the ingredient should be able to make a good profit from using that ingredient. And if the pricing is such that they are not able to do that, then we don't sell the ingredient. Currently, about 1/4 of the ingredients that we make their way to the market. Most of the others are either sold directly to large customers or are used as in-house specialties. So you can be assured that whenever Aarav goes out and promotes a new ingredient to you, if somebody in the company has the perfumers have done a in-depth cost benefit analysis, and they're sure that it will add benefit to your creations. We are looking at 4 new products in this new promotion cycle starting next month. And I'll quickly take you through those products so that you are aware of what is coming. The first product I would like to look at is called Lil Butanol. Lil Butanol is a lily of the valley, mugue. With the recent restrictions on IFRA, on Lilial and Lyral, in fact, Lilial is not allowed on the skin products in Europe anymore. There has been a lot of interest on lily of the valley materials which can be used to replace this. The biggest molecule which is used, of course, is fluorol or pyranol from BSF. But to modify pyranol into the required profile, you need strong lily of the valley materials. And Aarav is happy to present this material, which is a lily of the valley mugue. It is a powerful fresh floral mugue aldehyde with sweet, aquatic, and waxy nuances. As I discussed, it is effective in Lilial or Lyral replacements. If anybody wants to know how to make these well, you can write to me and I'll be happy to share demo formulations for this. It is a middle note floralizer. It works across the entire middle note, right into the top note where it gives a very delicate freshness. Dosages range from 0.1 to up to 5% depending on what you're making. It works very well at 0.2 to 0.5%. That is really its home where it performs the best. It has excellent depth. One of the problems with molecules like fluorol or many of the new ones that you're seeing is that a lot of them have been designed for transparency. And you don't get this heavy depth that we need in our products because of our weather and because of local taste. And Lil Butanol, in spite of being an aquatic material, has an incredible depth. So it's very good to add for adding body and texture to fragrances. It has sweet waxy nuances, which is valuable in flowers like magnolias, frangipanis, those kind of flowers. And an aquatic character, which is useful in mugues, water lilies, cyclamens, and lilies. You can imagine with this kind of fresh floral mugue thing, it's actually very useful in all kinds of applications, fine fragrance for sure, but also in personal care, personal wash being extremely important. It performs very well in things like shower gel, face washes, skin care, moisturizing lotions, things like that. It's very good in fabric care because it has a fantastic volume on wet and dry cloth. And of course, in household, in air care, air freshness, room freshness is great. And agarbatti, of course, it's very, very good in agarbatti. So, and it blends very well with citrus fresh. It's great in limes or lemons, and also very well with woody notes such as sandalwood or isoi. So that's Lil Butanol for you. Exciting molecule. I shall be happy to show it to you in the coming months. The next molecule which we are looking at is called Galvanum. Incidentally, many of you know Lil Butanol as Dupical. It was an old Quest product which was then Jivoda. So you know this, but the interesting thing about Lil Butanol is that the price is about, I think, about 40% of what the market price is. So you can use it in very, very different ways. Um, the next molecule we are going to talk about is Galbion, which is really Dynascone, which all of you know from, which is a great molecule originally made by Firmenich. Aarav has its own Galbion, excellent quality, very clean. This is a fresh, green, fruity molecule, extraordinarily powerful. I'm sure you have heard the story before, but this molecule was discovered as an impurity in Damascene synthesis. And even at trace levels in Damascene, it was able to change the olfactory profile of Damascene. Now, those who are familiar with the strength of Damascene themselves will have a good understanding of just how powerful this molecule is. So it needs to be used with care. It's galbanum, pineapple, floral, narcissus, and hyacinth. And its most important use is that it has extraordinary volume. It's absolutely tremendous volume. So if you take something like, let's say, Rin detergent bar, and you start washing your clothes with it, which I am sure none of you do, but try once in a while, the enormous, floral green note you get, which is basically envelopes, is mostly because of a molecule like Galbion. So it has extraordinary volume in functional products, in fine fragrances. It's one of the key elements in fragrances like cool water, for example. So a very important molecule. We have an isomer ratio of 70 alpha and 30 beta. So of the total Galbion present in the molecule, 70% would be alpha and 30% beta, which is the standard percentages. This molecule has a monster performance. It has fantastic volume, as I described, very good diffusivity. It spreads very, very quickly, and a good impact also. One of the tricks to using this is that it doesn't have too much of a top note. It's stays very much in the middle note. So it's normally used with other similar materials which will help it in continuing it to the top note. So things like the allyl esters in detergent, allyl cyclohexyl propionate or allyl heptoates are very popular. Or things like acetal R or allyl amyl glycolate or cyclogalbanates in agarbatti. One of the very popular agarbattis in the last 5 years has Galbion as one of the main ingredients in the top note. So when you're looking for the green pineapple note and you're not able to find it, take a look at Galbion. This is a must-have ingredient. If you're a perfumer and you don't have this in your lab, you're really missing something. This is absolutely a must in all laboratories. Extensively used across categories, from fine fragrances to detergents, from household to incense. It has some other properties which are very exciting. It starts acting at dosages as low as 0.02%. So you don't need a great deal of it to be effective. You can use up to 1%, but anything about 0.2 or 0.3 is really a challenge because of its power. It has this property of making fragrances more perceivable and lively. So if you put a little bit of Galbion in a fragrance, it suddenly comes to life. Excellent diffusion across applications. It works very well in a range of odor notes. White florals in gardenias, for example, is beautiful. Lavender, it's superb. Agaristics such as lavender, cool water is a lavender built around Galbion and allylamyl glycolate. It works very well in citrus. It's difficult to make a modern lime lemon note without a good dose of Galbion. Take a good look at the new Liril soap if you want to see how Galbion is used in limes. Extraordinary application, works very well. This is a must-have ingredient. Let me say that again for the cost of being repetitive. Fantastic material. The next one we are going to look at is a old product called transford-ecinal. This is a chemical name. This is it's an absolute top note, same boiling range as aldehyde C10 or C11, but much more powerful. It's orange, green, and floral. And when you use it, you use one of these facets to give life, to give diffusion to your fragrance. Exceptional diffusion, and it works at traces. I usually use it at less than 0.1%, but you can use up to 1% if you are adventurous. Its normal range is between 0.1 to 0.3%. Now, most of the time you don't use more than that. It's very commonly used in citrus. It's an orange, so very, very common in citrus, lime, lemons, those kind of things. If you have the air pockets orange in your house, you look carefully at the way it diffuses. A lot of that diffusion comes from transferred ethanol. It works well in agristics, especially with things like isobornyl acetate or MNA. It works in fruity notes, surprisingly. This is because of its green character. A lot of fruity notes become very dull. You know, if you have heavy, sweet, fruity notes, they become very dull. Many of you who have made pineapple in the past would have seen this effect with the high dosage of allyl cyclohexyl propionate. The fragrance tends to become very flat and dull. The addition of 0.1% of transferred ethanol is often useful to bring life to dull fruity fragrances. And it's quite amazing how it works in this context. And of course, in florals, any flower which can tolerate citrus notes, you know, things like honeysuckle, for example, it works wonderfully there, and you can use it. It is a very good modifier of common impact materials. So if you have aldehyde C10 or MNA or things like, let's say, citral, this is a very good modifier for some of these common impact materials, and it actually extends their performance. So its input is not simply to act on its own, but it also enhances a lot of the common materials that you use. And the ability to do this is really where its cost benefit comes from. It gives great lift to fragrances, especially in incense, in agarbatti, and also in products which are used with surfactants. So shower gels, soaps, you know, shampoos, those kind of products. It has tremendous lift while it improves impact and diffusion. It's exceptional in surfactant-based applications, as I said. Soaps, household cleaners, fabric care. It's also very effective in incense and in air care. The last one I'm going to introduce to you today is a product called Iron. Iron is one of the royalties of the fragrance community, like sandalwood oil, for example, or vetiver. Iron is really, you know, one of the royal ingredients of perfumery. It is a base note. It is the odor principle of Oris Absolute. So when you get a sample which says Oris Absolute 8% Iron, this is what they're talking about. It's a fantastic material. It is a volatility similar to methyl so it's in the middle node definitely. It's effective from traces. Even 0.1, 0.01 or 0.02 of Iron can still make a difference to a fragrance. It's very effective at low dosages. So 1 to 2 grams per kilo in a fragrance can completely transform a fragrance. You can of course use it at higher dosages, but it's costly. So you need special applications to do that. It's a floral orris violet material, very powdery and woody, and it has incredible richness. You know, and one of the key things about Iran is the more you dilute it, the more richer it becomes. It's quite a fantastic product to use. It's used mostly for its character and texture. You don't, you know, it's in the base note. It creates effects that are impossible to replicate with any other material. You can't get, you know, you don't like effects with anything else. Absolutely beautiful effects. It's best used in applications which are used on the skin. So it's very nice on skin, very good in skincare applications. Sorry? Fantastic product to use. It's used mostly for its character and texture. You don't, you know, it is, I'm getting an echo. That are impossible to okay, that's gone now. So it's best used in application on the skin or on the air. It helps in the sillage of fine fragrances. So when you make a fine fragrance and you want it to diffuse around the person wearing it, Iran is very good for that. It includes our isomer ratio is between 70 to 80% alpha and 12 to 14% beta, which is it's a very good ratio to use. It increases diffusion, volume, and tenacity of fragrances, and gives a very unique, rich, and luxurious texture. As I said, it's a molecule which smells of luxury. When you smell the molecule, it has incredible luxury, and it has a very distinct, gives very distinct character and an ambience of immense luxury to products. Iran is smells of elegance and it smells of luxury. It's used mostly in leave-on applications. You don't want to wash off a material of that price. So it's great in fine fragrances and in Arabic fragrances, in premium incense and in skincare. This is mostly what it is used in. And I would be honored to show you this molecule and to watch people as they interact with this incredible molecule. You have to smell it to believe it. Let me go on. What are we going to do going ahead? One is we will have road shows with extensive demos coming in May of 2020. I believe there is one planned in Bombay around 10th or 11th of May, and one in Bangalore on the 20th of May. We will also, after these in-person demos are over, we will be giving an online presentation with demo samples. So if you are unable to attend one of these demos, please write to us. We will send you the kit of demo samples, and I'll happy to do an online presentation with you on how to use these products. The samples for all of these will be available either during the demo or to everybody first week of June after the first round of promotions. They're already available with our distribution partner, Associate Allied. So if anybody wants to pick them up, I guess he should be able to distribute them starting May or 1st or so. To contact us for joining the in-person demos at this particular email address, or for an online demo at ingredients@aarav.co, or for any other inquiries, again, either of these email addresses will do. So thank you very much for your time and your patience. And I will look forward to introducing these new ingredients to you in person, and also to smell them with you and to show you how they are used. Thank you very, very much. Open to any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajit Uncle, for a very informative session. We have a few questions from the audience. The first one being for Lil Butanol.
Yeah.
So the question is that is its application more in functional perfumery or fine perfumery?
You can use it in both, because it has both performance and character. So you normally use its character in fine fragrances. So if you are making white florals, with delicate muguet notes, a Jador type would be a very good application for using large amounts of Lil Butanol. But you also, of course, you use it in soap and shower gels and in agarbattis and hair care. You use it everywhere. Because of its sheer performance, it's applicable everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ajit Uncle, the second question is from me as a perfumer, in the capacity of a perfumer.
Yeah.
In terms of using iron, do you experience that the smell gets stronger and the smell develops in formulation over time?
Yes, it does. It does. Absolutely does. Iran is a product which needs to be used with some experience. It's absolutely an high-end product. You don't use it in cheap perfumes, mainly because people like Aarav don't sell it to you cheap. So, you need to use it with care, but it does grow. It grows an incredible amount. In fact, we have another molecule which we call irisamral, which is a cousin of Iran. That also has the same property. If you keep a smelling strip in the first day, it will seem quite a normal strength, but you see it on the 10th day, and it has grown so much that you can't believe it is the same molecule. So it does that in our formulations too. And really, to actually evaluate an Iran formula, you need to keep it for 3 days for maturation to know the right dosage. Otherwise, on the first day, you will not smell it. And on the third day, your formulation has disappeared and there's only Iran.
Okay. Ajit uncle, last question from the audience.
Yeah.
Are there any immediate plans to manufacture other import substitutes?
Yes, yeah, Aarav has an active research program. As I said, if you are introducing 4 molecules this year, it means that you have done the process development of between 16 to 20 molecules already. So if there is something interesting that you want, you should talk to us because it's fairly likely that we have done some work on it. But it's in India as a market is a very small portion of the global market. And there are, if the molecule does not have a sales potential in India, and also if it does not have a cost benefit price at which we can sell, where people can derive benefit from it in the local market, then we prefer not to sell it here because the cost of selling it and recovering payments from people is way too high, and we don't want to distract. You see, we have a team of about 45 odd people in the ingredients division, out of which sales is zero.
Okay.
So we really don't. We have a very well balanced, active, dynamic team, and we don't want to get ourselves distracted in selling small volumes to a lot of people. So the idea is to have 40 customers globally. So yes, clean answer to your question is yes, we do have a lot more products. We have about 40 to between 43 to 45 as of today that we are producing. But we are not selling all of them. But in case you are interested in anything specific, please write to us at ingredients@aarav.co. We'll be happy to give you either an idea as to whether we'll make it or not, or an idea as to whether somebody else in India is making it or will ever make it. So we can give you a good balanced answer to that.
Okay. Ajit uncle, sorry, while we were talking, I have one final question from the audience. Price point of Lil Butanol.
Okay, I'll give you the price points of all of them. I forgot to do that. Let me start with Iran, which will give the most shock. It's like you go to a sari shop and he shows you a 50,000 sari first, because then everything else will not shock you. So I'm going to use the same technique. Iran is at 45,000 rupees a kilo, which, considering my competitors selling at anywhere between 75 to 1,50,000, is not a bad price.
Yeah.
The transferred SNL is at 17,000 rupees a kilo. Galbion is 25,000 rupees a kilo. It is actually cheap at that price. And Lil Butanol is 12,500 rupees a kilo.
Okay. Okay, sir. I think we're through with the questions. If you have any closing remarks, Ajit uncle, I leave it to you.
Yeah, no, the only thing I would like to say is that a lot of these molecules have been made by Aarav for a reason, is because they are great to use. And I would be going around the country in May showing how to do it. So if you'd like to join me in learning how to use these molecules, please write to us, because otherwise we don't know you are interested. And it's not nice to shepherd potential customers into a room and force them to listen to you. So if you are interested, please write to us. We'll be happy to get to a place near you and to be able to show you how these molecules are used.
Ajit uncle, my apologies again. One more question from the audience.
No problem.
Is Lil Butanol bio-based?
Good question. Lil Butanol is not bio-based, and in a country like India, you let me be a little rude just now, Krish. In a country like India, you can't afford all these nakras, to tell you the truth. You need to be able to make good, affordable products which our country people can use. And we are not a country which throws away 50% of what we make. We use almost everything we make. So, we are already sustainable in that sense. So I think we need to have a different mindset. Make in India, use in India, and make it for Indian people. Let's not get carried away too much by the stories we are telling.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Ajit uncle, it's always a pleasure and informative and educational listening to you. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Have a good day.
Our sincere thanks to Team Aarav.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Have a good day.